Stern's first foray into politics came in 1992 when he backed New York Republican Senator Alphonse D'Amato. Stern said he hoped if he endorsed D'Amato on his radio show, the senator would go to bat for him against the FCC. Oddly enough, a few weeks after winning the election, Alphonse D'Amato delivered a speech on the Senate floor claiming the FCC was too harsh on Stern. Stern's next alliance was with Governor Christine Whitman. Whitman promised Stern she would name a highway rest stop in his honor after Stern said he would endorse her on his radio show. Stern assured her she would win, suggested she wear a thong at the inauguration, and told his listeners he'd, quote, do her in a second, and that she has a tight ass and big cans. Whitman won, but this honoring of Stern caused public outrage, and the plaque was quietly installed on March 21, 1995, when both Whitman and Stern were on vacation. Stern also has an ongoing relationship with Pennsylvania's Republican Senator Arlen Specter. Specter heads the government committee which appropriates funding to the FCC. Specter has already voiced disapproval of the FCC regarding their treatment of Stern, and Stern has said he'll back Specter in the next election. But Howard Stern is best known in the political world for his run on the Libertarian ticket for New York State Governor in 1994. A run many believed at first was a joke.
Is Howard Stern a serious candidate? And I'm here to tell you I am very serious. I am dead serious.
In the weeks preceding the Libertarian Convention, Stern, using his rather powerful, medium, his radio program, began to call on his listeners and his fans to descend on Albany for the convention, to register as libertarians so that they could vote in the Libertarian primary, and to come up in a big show of support, which they did.
As I look out at all of you, I realize one thing. It's frightening that all of you get to vote. Extremely frightening. No, listen to me. Are all of you coming to Albany? Who do you want for governor? And is it because we want the death penalty?
The people who I talked to there who had come up, most of them were from the tri-state area, from New York, from the boroughs, a lot of Queens, a lot of meathead, give me my beer, my football, my Howard, and I'm happy kind of guys were the people who were the real hardcore constituents, the fan base who showed up, not just the listeners who are, idly listening to Howard on their way to work, but these are the hardcore for whom there is no greater God than Howard.
Yeah, in 1994, he called me up, asked me if I could second the nomination of when he was running for governor. So I went up and I inaugurated him, and Fred the Elephant Boy inaugurated him first, and then I inaugurated him second.
Howard stood for governor, Howard stood for governor.
On his way to Albany, Stern made 2 stops in upstate New York to meet the public. One at a go-go bar called Goldfinger's, and the other outside of Burger King. He arrived in Albany soon after.
When Stern showed up, what can I say? There was hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the parking lot. Probably the largest crowd that had ever gathered at this place.
Am I a serious candidate? You're damn right I am. We will have a death penalty. We will have no more toll booths throwing us down. We will fix the roads. And then I'll get the hell out of office before I can screw anything up.
And included in the group was the entirety of the Albany Press Corps, international press, national press, all there to cover the spectacle of Stern, who, when he got off the bus in typical form, was escorted by several strippers and his usual coterie of joke tellers and fixers. I guess he would have, being that he was a pol, he would have had his fixers in his cabinet. As I recall, he had his button that he wore said small penis, big ideas, so he was definitely playing up his lack of a manly man's unit that day. And the whole thing was just a big festival out in the parking lot. Meanwhile,
He's a great American.
Inside the convention hall, you know, there was a lot of chairs. There was rows of chairs, and like Howard was all the way in the back with Gary and Robin and Fred and Jackie and John. They were like setting the radio table all the way in the back. And then in the center was all the chairs. And up front, where I inaugurated them, there was a stage. And that's where I pulled the dildo out and embarrassed the libertarians. But, you know, I became very famous for it.
It was the very epitome of a circus-like atmosphere. I mean, you had strippers running up and down the aisles. You had, you know, geeky libertarian, you know, political types not knowing what the hell was going on, being very upset. You had people standing up and baba-booing the afternoon away. And you had, you know, Stern at the center of all of this, the king man, you know, orchestrating this incredible publicity stunt for the Libertarian Party, and not coincidentally boosting his ratings and boosting his profile across the state, and I guess on the national political scene too. I mean, as I recall, his his platform was just the death penalty, and he was going to give the death penalty and then turn the reins over to his running mate, and that was that, and it was a big party with lots of strippers.
Yeah, I think he always has a lot of nice-looking chicks around him. I think there's always a lot of strippers, you know, strippers, models, chicks from other countries and stuff. You know, everybody's real excited about it.
He's a great American.
The Libertarian Party usually, in my understanding, voted paper ballots and counted the ballots and picked a nominee out of the 4 or 5 people who were running after they gave their speeches. Because this was such an overwhelmingly Stern, you know, dominated event, they, excuse me, they dispensed with this formality in there and went with a voice vote, which, of course, Stern blew everybody out of the water.
Howard Stern!
But the people, some of the nominees particularly, were extremely upset by this breach of protocol, and you know, were storming around in all sorts of different states of distress, much to the amusement of all the Stern people there, who took a great deal of joy in booing them and making them feel even worse than they already did by letting this fool take over their party.
During the speech, I said, "Who wants to see my dildo?" And everybody was like, "Yeah, I want to see it." And I pulled out this dildo and I held it up, and like all the libertarians were all embarrassed. My dildo! I got a dildo! And some of them actually ran out of the room.
After the convention, Stern, as I recall, did some campaigning, which involved going to, I think, some more strip clubs, and you know, and then they went back down to New York very quickly. I think he said some pretty disparaging things about Albany, and then got the hell out of there.
What was the best moment you had up in Albany at the Libertarian Convention, besides the dildo thing?
Well, I guess just hanging out at night, you know, going from hotel room to hotel room, meeting all the different people, hanging out, going to lunch, dinner, breakfast, you know, just associating with all the different wackos and celebrities.
And in the weeks that followed, as I recall, the campaign sort of floundered, because now that he had gotten the nod, okay, the joke's over. Now you're the gubernatorial candidate. What are you going to offer? And all he offered was the death penalty and turning it over to his running mate after he was done. But he, of course, you know, loved all the attention, and ultimately that is what this was all about. It was about ratings and about keeping his name out there, and big publicity stunt for him.
He's a great American.
Shortly after Stern received the nomination, a stripper from upstate New York decided to show her support by removing her top and climbing the steps of the Capitol building in Albany, holding a Howard Stern for Governor sign. A crowd gathered, but their reasons for viewing this event may have been more than just political.
I think they probably want to see my breasts, but...
I'm sure the breasts did it all, you know? Hell, that's why I came.
With the nomination under his belt, Stern was forced by law to make his address and personal finances public. He filed a false home address with the New York State Election Committee, stating he lived in this home in Plainview, New York. But the documents he couldn't falsify were his personal finances. He refused to disclose these and dropped out of the race on August 4th, 1994. Though he told the Libertarians he would endorse their choice, Stern changed his mind and backed Republican George Pataki, who was soon a guest on Stern's show. Stern told Pataki's wife, Libby, he wanted to tongue-kiss her at the inauguration. Pataki won, gave Stern a prime seat at the inauguration, and invited Stern back to the governor's mansion.
What do you think would have happened if Howard Stern would have became governor of New York? How do you think that would have all worked out for the people of New York?
Yeah, I think it would have been a great thing because, you know, he understands how the people think. And everybody would have had a good time. And it would have been very cool. I would have enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I think it's great that a guy can speak his mind, say what he wants to, and get paid for it. I really like to listen to him. If I could tell everyone how I felt, hey, I'd do it.
He's the absolute worst.
Why is that?
Because I don't like his show, and I don't like his remarks. I think he's a chauvinist. And I think his show stinks, in plain English. I just don't like his show.
I like all of it. I like hearing him dog people and harass people, and when people get called up on the phone, and he just tells it like it is and gives it people a hard time for it. I really enjoy it.
The whole show offends me. I think he's vulgar. I think he's rude. And I think he's for less intellectual people. You know, people without minds. That's the people that listen to Stern.
Listen every morning to him and Robin. Can't wait to see who's on and go to work and talk about it.
I just don't like his show. I think he's a pig.
You think he should be off the air?
Yes, definitely.
If you could say one thing to Howard, what would it be?
Keep on going. He's great. Keep up the good work.